We'll go over a couple of important details about the Event-Driven Data Layer, or EDDL. We'll start on the Event Attributes screen within the Apollo application. Here I filtered for the product viewed event. And what I answer with every event are what attributes are important for me to track when a particular event occurs. For example, on the product viewed event, some things that I might want to track are the product price at the time that it was viewed, whether that was a discounted price or a regular price, what the selling price was, the product category, setting the product string, and these types of related items. So I can go through and see, for example, which items are necessary or relevant for my website. And there are a whole bunch of things that may or may not apply, but based on the attributes that I enable in this screen, I'll get the appropriate data layer specification. When I go to Document and I expand my product viewed item, I see all of the necessary configuration for my event based on the attributes that I've enabled. This is then provided to the web developers to implement. What that looks like when we actually get to a site where this has been implemented, we go to a page with a product view, such as a product detail page. And then we can look in the console at the event-driven data layer. In this case, it's called App Event Data. As I expand this, I see all of the different events that occur, including the product viewed event. And if I expand the product viewed event, I have all of the information that I've specified about this product once my development team has implemented this. So this is all specific to this product. And whenever I view a product, I want to make sure that I'm recording this information. You can also see the overall structure of the event-driven data layer. We have a page load started event that occurs, and items that are detectable when the page first loads can be included here. Things like the page name, page title, the category of the page, etc., that might be known up front. Then we have intermediate events that occur between the page load start and page load completed, such as the product viewed event, and the user detected event, which detects whether or not I'm logged in, and then an indicator that the page load has been completed. This makes it very easy to work with single page applications, and it allows us to process the information whenever it becomes available from the back end, rather than trying to time things, which can cause problems. So to go into a little bit more on the event-driven data layer, effectively the event-driven data layer is a set of attributes about a particular event, as we mentioned. We mentioned the benefits to single page applications, and it's designed to work with the asynchronous nature of Adobe Launch. And effectively, this is a more long-term way of tracking than doing something like scraping the DOM or waiting for a particular item to occur and looking for something in the background. Effectively, the way that data makes it from the data layer all the way through to Adobe Analytics is we start from the data layer itself with the attributes that we've chosen to select. Then things flow through the Data Layer Manager extension, which is installed in Adobe Launch through Apollo deployments. Then the data elements are aware of all of the items that come through the data layer. The rules are constructed, and the rules reference the data elements, and those are properly assigned to variables as necessary. And then the data makes it all the way through to Adobe Analytics. So by the time that you see reporting, all of these steps have already occurred, but it starts with the types of data that you need to track for each step. You may be used to the digital data object from W3C. This recommendation was made quite a few years ago, and there haven't really been any major updates to it since. So this is a more modern way and a more future-proof way of tracking. The EDDL requires less overall code, and you're able to become aware of events exactly as they happen, which makes sure that all of the necessary attributes are available at the time that you need them. You're not relying on outdated methods such as polling, where if something updates in between when the item is being checked for, maybe it could get missed. So there are a lot of advantages to this. And I'm talking a lot about Adobe Analytics in this case, but this can be picked up by any tag manager that can read a data layer format and be fed into any system that it's constructed for. This is an example of the W3C data layer, which you might have seen events being pushed onto the digital data object. And a lot of times this is related to the digital data.event object. And there might be a lot of extraneous components. There might be timing issues that you run into doing it this way. Whereas rather than kind of pushing everything into one place in the event-driven data layer, we have the name of the event itself, the pieces of information we need particularly for that event, and that's all that we need to work with. And we don't have to worry about extraneous items being in there that don't apply to what we're doing, or outdated items or items not being picked up. Some additional resources for the event-driven data layer are this blog post from Jim Gordon from 4/23/19 called the Event-Driven Data Layer. If you go to gymalytics.com and search for EDDL, you'll find this article. There are also two articles, a guide to event-driven data layers with Adobe, terms and context, and the second post in this series about the computed state of the event-driven data layer. These are on the Search Discovery blog, and these go into quite a bit more detail about the event-driven data layer structure. In the first post, there are details about the event-driven data layer's structure, which include the kind of overall details that we've talked about how data is pushed. Then in the second post, we go into a lot more detail on the data layer manager extension, as well as how things work with computed state, where we're able to see the most up-to-date values at a given time for everything that's been pushed to the data layer. So if you're interested in a little bit more detail, you're welcome to search EDDL on gymalytics.com or go to the Search Discovery blog and look for Event-Driven Data Layer or EDDL to find these posts as well.